So look at number 1. Everything is to the 0 power. What do you think? 1. That's it. Here you're multiplying, so what are you going to do to the exponents? Add 17 plus 5, 22. Here you're doing a power to a power. That means that you do what to the exponents? Good, multiply. 4 times 5 is 20. Every single question is not going to be super difficult. There's going to be easy ones like that, okay? Here you're dividing. That means you're going to subtract. This is really x to the 1. So 9 minus 1, 8. Now, these aren't any different. They're just larger problems is all. We're multiplying. So 2 times 6 is 12. Put x. You're going to add the exponents. So what will that give you for x when you add them? Good. 3 plus 7 is 10. And then for the y's, 5 plus 4 is 9. Are we all together so far? I did this kind of quick, but there's not much to them. Now this one is going to have 2 steps. I know, 2 whole steps. Do you see how this whole thing is to the 3rd? You have to do that first and then multiply it by the negative 5x to the 8th. Like we're going to do that first part first and then do the same thing that we kind of did here. So take all of these to the 3rd. 2 to the 3rd. If you don't know, you can type it in Desmos, but does anyone know 2 to the 3rd is 8? It's 2 times 2 times 2, but you can always use a calculator. Put x. Power to a power means that you multiply. So 5 times 3, 15. And then for y, 6 times 3 is 18. So in the second step, we're going to multiply these together. 8 times negative 5. Well, 8 times 5 is 40. It'll just be negative 40. Again, if you don't know that, use your calculator. Now, when you're multiplying, what do you do to the exponents? Add. Good. So 15 plus 8 is 23. And then do you see how it's y to the 18th and then there's not a y in this one? That means it's just going to be y to the 18th. Like there's not another y to combine it with. So you just leave it as that. All right, for number 7, you're going to take all of those things to the 4th. If you don't know what 4 to the 4th power is, which I wouldn't expect you to, hold on, let me bring up the calculator here and I'll share my screen. So all you have to do is come over here and do 4 to the 4th, or does anyone want to guess? It's kind of a big number. It's 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Close. 256. But do you see how I just used the calculator? Use your calculator. All right, then put x. Power to a power means that you... Good, perfect. Nice. 28. And then do you see how this is just y to the 4th? It's just y to the 4th. Don't overthink that. The other way you can put that in your brain is 1 times 4 is 4, but it's just y to the 4th. Like, just keep it. It is positive. We didn't get any negatives in there. Yeah, so if you want to think of a 1 there, 1 times 4 is 4. Yeah, you're multiplying. Or I just think of it, it's y to the 4th. You just put y to the 4th. All right, here, we're going to play tug of war. Which side wins for the A's? The top, good. By how much? 7, good. Which side wins for B? Bottom? Somebody other than Colin? Good. Because this is really a 1. 9 minus 1 is 8. I'm going to do the exact same thing here. Draw a fraction bar. We're just going to play tug of war. 9/12. Look, if you don't know how to reduce 9/12, it's fine. Look, let me show you. Let me type this in here. Can you guys just look? 9/12, turn it back into a fraction. Do you see that? 3/4. Use your resources, all right? 3/4. Which side wins for x? Bottom? By how much? You have 4 and you have 17. 13. Can you let everybody, I don't want you to talk anymore, okay? Which side wins for y? Top. By how much? 9, good. The way some of those ones are on the test, to simulate drag and drop questions, do you know how drag and drop works on the computer? Like you have a bunch of choices, you drag them over. So I have all these choices, and then you like from the word bank, so to speak, you write your answers on the line. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so that's how that is on your test. All right, for this one, negatives are traitors. That's going to go down to the denominator. So that b to the fourth goes down to the denominator. That's it. That's all that there is on that question. The negative ones switch sides. You can't combine them together if you're thinking, well, why can't you get like something to the second power? Why can't you put those together? Like, why can't you do 6 minus 4 is 2? Good, that's an A and that's a B, different variables. So you can't put them together, just leave it alone. What's that? Because there's a negative. The negative ones switch sides. So that had to go down to the denominator. Negatives are traitors, they switch sides. You're gonna see me do it again here because there's negatives. Do you see how this whole thing is squared? We're gonna do that and then multiply it by this part. It's a 2-part problem, all right? So we're gonna square that first stuff and then multiply them together. So 4 squared, it's not 8. Good, perfect. And if you didn't know that, what would you do? Put it in the calculator. All right, put x. A power to a power means that you, good, -3 times 2, -6, good. And then in the second step, you're gonna multiply them together. 16 times 3. If you don't know that, that's fine. Let me come over here, I'm gonna type it in. 16 times 3. 48. When you multiply, what do you do to your exponents? Good, add. -6 and -5 is -11. Oh, and there's actually one more step because that's negative. Where does it have to go? On the bottom. So 48 over x to the 11th. The negatives switch sides. They switch sides, which is exactly what's going to happen in this. Draw a fraction bar. We're just going to decide what goes where. Do you see how the x's are negative? Do you see that? Where are they going to go? It will be x to the 6th, but where am I going to put it? On the bottom. Good. And then for the y's, you're just playing tug of war. Which side wins? The top. By how much? That's it. Hanging in there? We got 3 more. I made these just like what's on your test too. Like these exact kind of problems. All right, here, 18 divided by 3. We're dividing. 18 divided by 3. It is 6, but if you didn't know that one, what would you do? Type it in the calculator, all right? And you can write 6 over 1 if you want to. All right, put x. Power to a power means that you do what? Good. -4 times -2 is +8. Negatives cancel. And then on the bottom, 5 times 3 is 15. And the last thing you're going to do is play your tug of war. Which side wins? Bottom? By how much? Seven. Good. 15 minus 8 gives you 7. All right, here I see a bunch of zeros, so it's tempting to just put 1. This part, and watch me point to this. Do you see how all this is to the 0 power? That part's going to be 1, so that's gone. And do you see how it's x to the 0 power? That's going to be 1, so that's gone. But you're still left with this part. 5 squared isn't 10. It's 5 times 5. So 25 is your answer. If you didn't know that, you could type it in the calculator. Oh, do you remember the clue game we played last time? I put one exactly like this on here. We're going to do this problem like the insides in our parentheses and then square everything. Don't square it first. That's going to make the numbers bigger. You want to keep the numbers little. All right, hey kiddos, does 5 over 3 reduce? No, so just leave it 5 over 3. We're going to play tug of war with the rest of these. Which side wins for x? The top. By how much? Good. Perfect. Oh, what happens with the y's? Yeah, so don't write them. If they're gone, or 14 minus 14 is nothing. Just don't write them. Which side wins for z? Bottom? By how much? Good. 5 minus 1, good, perfect. You got it, getting it. All right, and then you're gonna square everything. 5 squared is 25. For the x, power to a power means that you multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. Good. 3 squared isn't 6. It's 3 times 3, which is 9. You could type it in the calculator. 3 squared, it'll tell you 9. And then z, 4 times 2 is 8.